Okay, hello. I'm going to be discussing option A, dualism. Um, so, the first part of this question asks to summarize the Cartesian dualism in words. So, I think what Descartes is basically saying in dualism is that mind and body is separate. They're separate things. He states that so Descartes, in his quest to understand the human mind, went about it by way of doubting, everything, and trying to find something that he could not doubt. And in that quest, he found that everything in this world is doubtable. The body, the physical things that we can touch, even like the realms outside of ours, is doubtable. The only thing that he couldn't doubt is the fact that he was doubting. It was his mind, his thought about all these things. It's the only thing that he couldn't doubt. And in that, said that that the mind exists, the thought exists, therefore the mind exists. The mind exists the body, therefore the body exists, but it's two separate things. So, an example of this pen. By saying that this pen is two separate things, it is, it's two things. It but has all the same characteristics. It has the same color, made out of the same material, and it exists on the same plane of existence. You can't say that this thing is two things. This has to be one. So, same thing with the mind and the body. The mind and the body have two different, they don't have the same properties. Therefore, they cannot be the same thing. They have to be separate. So what is the mind-body problem that arises from this? So yes, that's cool to say that, okay, in my body, this mind in this body is separate. But what about in other people? How am I to say that the thought that somebody else is having is the same thought that I'm having? And how do we know that other bodies are, as the text says, how do we know that other bodies are really, as in our body, animated by minds at all? How do we know that it's not just computer science that's generating all these other people's thoughts and actions? So Bertrand Russell gives a solution to this problem in some of his discussions, which is the third part of this. So Descartes is saying, let me find a quote here. So he's basically saying, his is the argument from analogy for other minds. So he's saying that since other people do the same things that we do and have the same reactions to different feelings that we do, that we are the same, that we are analogous with each other and have the same minds, same kind of minds. He makes this summary at the end of his analogy in saying that we know from observation of ourselves a causal law, the form A causes B, where A is thought and B is a physical occurrence. We sometimes observe B. Okay, so he's saying here that A causes B. I'm going to give an example here of A being the thought or feeling. So being hot, for example, causes B to jump in a pool. So A being hot causes B to jump in a pool. We sometimes observe a B jumping in the pool when we cannot observe any A feeling of being hot. We then infer an unobserved A. We then assume that because somebody jumped in a pool, they were hot. For example, I know when I'm thirsty, I say so usually because I am thirsty, and therefore when I hear the sentence, I'm thirsty, like someone else is saying that they're hot, I assume this the more readily if I see before me a hot, drooping body, which goes on to say, I have walked 20 desert miles in this heat with never stopping for a drop to drink. So it is evident, Bertrand Russell says, it is evident that my confidence in this inference is increased by the increased complexity of the datum and also increased certainty of the causal law derived from the subjective observation. So if you see somebody in a bathing, in this example, if somebody says, I'm hot, versus somebody in a bathing suit and sweating, that they want to jump in a pool more than the person that just says I'm hot. But the problem with this, wait, hold on. I'm getting sidetracked here. The problem with this is that there are multiple reasons as to why someone would jump in a pool. Just because in this one particular instance, I was hot, so I jumped in a pool. It doesn't mean that spreads across all minds, and it doesn't. This doesn't hold up for all situations. Like maybe for basic needs, such as like if someone's eating, that they're hungry, the argument could hold up there. However, for all situations, I don't think that just because we can observe the same physical thing happening, that the same reasoning goes behind it. Why or why not? Yeah, so like he said, so we are supposed to know A causes B, and also to know that B has occurred. So we are to know that because you're hot, you're going to jump in a pool, also to know that B has occurred, so we have to know that you've jumped in a pool. If this is to justify us inferring A, we must know that only A causes B. And we can't know that. We can't know other people's thoughts. So, therefore, this argument does not hold up. I hope that made sense.